Welcome, everybody. And thank you so much for joining us. We're going to start the content piece of our event now that we've been able to move in our seats a little bit, clap it all out at the end of this day. And I'm really excited to welcome up my friend Casey, who is the co-founder of Journey into Truth. She's a Georgian College alumni, and she's here to share the Indigenous Land Acknowledgement. Thank you so much for joining us, Casey. Well, we're just going to get you to unmute. It's the theme of this year.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sarah. I don't know about you guys, but my energy levels just went from down here to up here after listening to Marshall's performance. That was awesome. I feel so pumped up now. Anyways, as Sarah said, my name is Casey, and I am the co-founder of Journey into Truth. 2 roads, 1 vision, and Journey into Truth is a service where we really want to empower people, to inspire them even to figure out what their role can be in the reconciliation journey. And we work with various businesses and organizations to do that, and even individuals. So before I share the land acknowledgement for the Barrie area, I would like to share the land acknowledgement for where I am right now. I am in the Robertson-Huron Treaty Territory, which is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, specifically the Garden River and Batchewana First Nations, as well as Métis people. Now for the Barrie area. The land acknowledgement is a response. It is a response to keep with Indigenous protocol, build respectful relationships between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples in Canada, in a response to the 94 calls to action contained in the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation. It is customary to acknowledge the traditional territories, ancestral lands of Indigenous peoples. Please note that the respective acknowledgement is to be made as part of opening prayers, comments, introductions, and to be made available for all to see. Therefore, we would like to acknowledge the sacred land on which we gather on today. This land has been the site for human activity for thousands of years and was previously Wendat territory, but this nation perished due to disease brought over by the settlers. Currently, it is the territory of the Anishinaabe. The Anishinaabe include the Odawa, Ojibwe, and Batawanaami nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture. We also recognize the enduring presence of Indigenous peoples on this land and are committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect. Miigwech, thank you, and enjoy the medal awards.
Thank you so much, Casey. And now I'm so proud to provide opening remarks from Dr. Mary Lynn Westmoynes, President and CEO of Georgian College.
Well, hello, everyone. I want to welcome students, staff, faculty, alumni, sponsors, particularly sponsors, entrepreneurs, and the business community. A special welcome to Georgian College's Board of Governor Chair, Paul Larsch, and a couple of other governors who, as well as government and community partners who have joined us today. Wow, what a year we've had. It's been incredible. There have been incredible challenges, incredible opportunities, and I've seen people come together and work hard to overcome things we would never believe people could do. I've also seen individuals and business leverage opportunities in ways that have helped them to become more successful, and they are able to do more meaningful work. And of course, we've seen entrepreneurs rise through this very difficult time. It's been, shall I say, incredible, something we will look back upon for many years to come. And I think something to learn from for many of those years as well. As president, I think the most important thing that I've seen, it's been an opportunity for our students to observe how we will act as a society in adversity. They've watched and they've learned, and they are taking every opportunity that is coming their way. This will impact future generations. And I think the way we've conducted ourselves in our community has served students incredibly well. In this past year, the Henry Bernick Entrepreneurship Center has taken all of its support resources and mentorships into a virtual format. Well, this has been the plan for some time to ensure that we can help even more students, entrepreneurs, and support our alumni. Never believed it would happen so quickly. The HVAC team now operates without borders and supports entrepreneurs across Central Ontario and has seen an increase in clients globally, with more and more eyes on this region and Georgian College. Entrepreneurs seeking the mentorship and business expertise provided by HVAC are accessing virtually from places like, can you believe it, California, Malaysia, Singapore, British Columbia, Quebec, and of course, our home communities. So today, we're all about celebrating the great success of entrepreneurs who have received support at the Henry Bernick Entrepreneurship Center, and the community leaders, the community builders who have shared their passion and support for both students and our community. We will also celebrate Henry and the Bernick family and the continued impact they have had on students and entrepreneurs we serve. When I think back when Henry made his seminal gift to Georgian in 2011, he envisioned a center that would nurture future generations of entrepreneurs through the power of mentorship. You know, he believed in mentorship, and I'm very proud that when I first came to the college, he agreed to mentor me. Now, almost 10 years later, the center has earned its place among Central Ontario's leading entrepreneurial hubs and innovation centers, contributing to the development of our regions, engaging thousands and thousands of entrepreneurial activities, and in the accelerated growth of a number of businesses. I'm so proud to say, building on Henry's vision, that the Bernick family has continued to be there with support and friendship and solid advice every step of the way. Their confidence in what we're achieving together has been unwavering, and we're so grateful. I'm delighted that today we're joined by members of Henry's family, and I look forward to hearing from our good friend Howard later on in the event. He's an inspiring speaker, and I know we're all in for a treat. It's events like this when we spotlight the next generation of businesses and entrepreneur leaders who will help shape the economy. I believe there is so much hope ahead, and it's because of their collective efforts and the support that the community gives to entrepreneurs that will truly continue our society to foster and do exceptionally well. Thank you all for joining us, and have a wonderful event.
Thank you so much. And now I'm proud to bring onto the stage Dr. Jamie Doran, Executive Director of Research, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship, to share remarks for 2021.
Hi, everybody. Sorry it took me a second to get my mic on. I hope you can hear me okay. Pretty excited to be here. I keep seeing the attendees numbers climbing and climbing, and that is incredible. So thank you, Mary Lynn, for those inspiring words. They honor the hard work of the many students and the community entrepreneurs that come to the Henry Bernick Center for support and guidance. And I wanted to tell you that about a year and a half ago, our department, which we call Research, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship, launched our strategic plan, and we called that 30,000 entrepreneurs. And we have these guiding words, which are educate, inspire, and activate. And we set out to educate, inspire, and activate innovators and entrepreneurs in many new and modern ways, including through innovative online programming like this one. And we wanted to shine the light on Central Ontario and all the huge possibilities that are here. But COVID over the last year really pushed us to innovate quickly. But because of the hard work of our team, we've already achieved several of the milestones that we thought would take us 3 to 5 years to reach. And I remember back when I first started at Georgian, we pitched this idea that we wanted to move online and start communicating with our entrepreneurs on a bigger global scale. And I remember when we pitched this to Howard, he was looking at us like, I'm not sure about that. But he did believe in our team and said, okay, go for it. But so here we are. We've actually hit many of those milestones. And we've torn down the walls, and we now look to serve businesses with no matter where they are in the world. And you heard Mary Lynn say it, and I'll say it again because Sarah says all the time, we are now HBEC without borders. So maybe our target of 30,000 entrepreneurs is actually too low. I'll tell you a little bit about what our team has accomplished in the last year, and you'll be just as proud of them as I am. So in the last year, we've launched several new co-op models which are designed for those student innovators. And we've served students and clients from 4 continents. We connected our entrepreneurs to our applied research program to help them develop, refine, and commercialize new innovations. We launched online events with hundreds of participants and embraced our new virtual campus for meetings, events, and teaching. And we expanded our expert pool of mentors and introduced virtual mentorship. And cool part is we are producing cool YouTube shows like Sailing and Scaling, The Knowledge Buffet, and Collab. And we thought that would take us forever to create those, but we now have dozens of episodes. And some of our content is even being taken up by Rogers TV, so look out, world. So we work closely with the City of Barrie, Simcoe, and Grey counties, and many other regional partners to make Central Ontario the place to start and grow a world-class business. As you'll see this afternoon, people and businesses are finding great success here, and there's lots more to come. HBEC is honored to be able to serve the businesses of our network, and we look forward to helping them tackle their challenges. Tonight, we'll hear about the very best students and companies that are rocketing towards success. You'll be as proud of their achievements as we are. I want to call out to the HBEC team for organizing such a cool event. And I wanted to say to Marshall, what a great performance and an awesome way to start this event. And our team has put so much work into making this a memorable event and a milestone for our students and companies and valued guests. So a huge thank you also to the Bernick family for helping to create the Henry Bernick Center in the first place and making all this possible. So we are so excited to hear about tonight's winners. So I'm going to stop right here because, you know, I can talk and talk and talk. But I'm going to pass it back to Sarah so we can learn all about the winners.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Yes, without further ado, it's now time to announce the winners of the Henry Bernick medals. And I will just share my screen. And thank you for your patience. There we go. So, the Henry Bernick Medal commemorates the qualities of its namesake, Henry Bernick. Henry was a strong and principled man, a mentor and teacher, businessman, and philanthropist. He was a friend and supporter of Georgian College, and his donation allowed for the creation of the Henry Bernick Entrepreneurship Center. We're thrilled to be joined here this evening by members of his family and friends and all of you within this community. And now I get to announce the medals. So, in the student finalist category, and for folks that are here, you'll be able to learn a lot more about these companies if you check out the videos back on the floor. We have Sam Halloran from Expo Game, Rebecca and Brianne at Honeybee The Change, Ken Coney O'Sheen Elite Programmers, Kendra Sewell, Kendra Rose Jewelry, and Guy Olivier Potvin from Auto Rocket. And just to make the suspense a little bit more tense, I wanted to talk about what this medal means. So the Student Entrepreneur Medal is awarded to a student or group of students who have made a successful and inspiring leap into entrepreneurship while enrolled as a Georgian College student or a graduate within 2 years of graduation. The winner exemplifies the entrepreneurial spirit, having started a successful small business, persevered through startup challenges, and secured a customer. So, I wish I could play the drums, but I can't. And the winner is Rebecca and Brianne from Honeybee The Change. Now, Rebecca, I know that you're in the audience. Jenna has invited you to the stage, and if you would like to join us, you can. There, you're here. Wow. Wow. I just wanted to get your sentiments on this and also just praise you and acknowledge the hard work that you and Brianne have accomplished.
Thank you so very much. Oh my gosh, this is such a wonderful surprise. We are so honored. We were honored to be nominated, and this is, wow. Thank you so much. On behalf of myself and Brianne, who is still out there hustling right now. She won't be here right this minute, but thank you so much. Thank you so much to the whole HBEC team, to the business entrepreneurship program at Georgian College. You all gave us our start, and we are so thankful for all the support and resources. You're always there to have our back. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I have some exciting news too for all of the winners tonight. Speaking with Howard Bernick earlier in the week, and he has provided a gift to each of the winners, $1,800 cash, and he wants to just help continue the success that you are having, and I know you're going to accomplish amazing things, so we're so proud of you. And thank you for joining us. If you just uncamera and unmute, then you leave the stage.
Thank you so much. We're so honored.
And now our next category, the community finalists. So the Community Entrepreneur Medal is awarded to high potential business or a community innovator who has leveraged the resources of the Henry Bernick Entrepreneurship Center to reach new heights of success. The winner has surmounted many challenges to achieve their goals. They exemplify the entrepreneurial spirit by inspiring other local entrepreneurs and innovators, sharing what they have learned, and being an active member of the local business ecosystem. And I can say that this is true for all 5 that are shown here. We have Rose and John from Bad Vegan, Allison Oakes from O Beehive Beeswax Wraps, Sven Hansen from Always Bearded, Mike and Corey from 10 Fed, and Michael Agama from Agama Work Inc. And the pretend drum roll I hear in my head is Michael Agama from Agama Work Inc. Congratulations, Michael. And if you have the ability to unmute and turn on your camera, you can join us on stage.
Wonderful.
Okay, great.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations.
This is truly an honor and a surprise. I have family here in the room and watching, so I also, similar to Rebecca, want to thank Henry Bernick. That's where I got my start. That made the Agama Work platform successful. All the people that contribute to it, the thousands who we've employed over the last 5 years, the awesome team that worked with me directly, and a shout out to all of the hospitality tourism workers who've been displaced over the last year. This one's for you. We're going to move forward into 2021. So thank you so much. This is awesome. I'm thrilled. I'm excited.
Yay. Thank you, Michael, and thanks for joining us on stage. And I'm looking forward to celebrating later on with you.
Thank you.
Hi, fam. Okay, moving to the next category. Michael, if you mute, that's great. Thank you. And if you turn your camera off, you'll exit the stage. It's different than like a giant hook. I'm just kidding. Okay, in the category of champion finalists, the Entrepreneur's Champion, and the finalists are: the Entrepreneur's Champion Medal is awarded to an individual who works tirelessly to support students, entrepreneurs, innovators, and the business ecosystem in Central Ontario. They work to promote life and opportunity in our region, aiming to attract investment, talent, and business while supporting our growing companies through mentorship, connections, and teaching. They exemplify the words educate, inspire, and activate. The Entrepreneur's Champion is a recognized and respected ambassador for the entrepreneurs of Central Ontario. And wow, look at this group of folks. Totally heroes of mine. We have Craig Bush from Bush Systems, Brandon Houston from the Collingwood Foundry, David Yeaman from MPC Components, Jen Walker from Dive Heart First, and Michael Badham from Georgian Angel Network. And I'm pleased to announce the winner is David Yeaman from MPC Components. Thank you so much and congratulations. And David, if you turn on your mic and camera again, you can join us on stage. There you are. Congratulations.
Wow. Yeah, very surprised up against so many esteemed entrepreneurs from our community, and many of them, some of them have been business mentors since I started my business. So it's a huge honor.
That's awesome. And the work that you've been doing, especially over the last year, and all of the students that you hire and the co-ops that you bring in, definitely really appreciative of the work that you do. And we're looking forward to seeing what the future brings for you.
Yeah, it's been an incredible year, and the whole community's been involved in everything we're doing. We said we hired 115 students. We had people coming and volunteering to work for free, and building out what we built out this summer. I just want to recognize that none of this happens without our people, right? And you'll hear me say in many of our videos and stuff is that I can buy all the technology in the world, but we're nothing without our people. And it really is the people that are behind us that make us who we are and allow us to do what we do. And I'm sure everybody who's been nominated or any entrepreneur would agree, but nothing happens without your people. So a huge round of applause for everyone at MPC that helped make this happen too. And once again, it's an amazing honor to accept this award. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. And if you turn off your camera and mic, then you'll also exit the stage magically. We're doing some magic stuff now. Thank you. And now I'm so pleased to be able to bring remarks from Howard Bernick.
Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me to say a few words today at this year's Henry Bernick Medal Award ceremony. My name is Howard Bernick, and I'm the lucky guy that chose Henry and Esther Bernick to be my parents. My dad, Henry, was born in Poland in 1924. He came to Canada as a 14-year-old in June of 1939 and spoke no English at the time. As the Nazi German armies were approaching from the west and the Russian armies from the east, September of 1939 would have been very likely too late for my dad and grandparents to have escaped to Canada alive. The family settled on a farm in Cookstown, and 4 years later, Dad graduated from high school in Barrie and gave the valedictorian address. He had learned English fluently, and he had no accent. With academic scholarship support, Henry was off to University of Toronto. He graduated from there in 1947 with a degree in mechanical engineering, but he never worked in the engineering field. My parents moved to Midland, Ontario, where I was born in 1952. Dad went into business with his father and his uncle in a struggling fur dressing and dyeing business. The business was not doing well at all. So as was Henry's custom, if he didn't know something, he would yell out for help. My dad sent personal handwritten letters to the top 10 or 12 fur industry people across Canada, asking them to please help him. Soon thereafter, a gentleman by the name of Morris Neiman from Winnipeg and a fellow by the name of Joseph Kerbel from Toronto drove out to Midland, Ontario to see who this Henry Bernick guy who had written to each of them actually was. Morris and Joe thought that Henry was a very smart young man. He was 30 years their junior, and they agreed to back him financially in a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 partnership. Even more importantly, they became his mentors. The fur business in Midland proved to be hopeless, and our family moved to Barrie in 1954 to start again. Dad bought Charlie Newton's farm for less than $1,000 per acre and started subdividing lots and building houses on Oak Street. The houses sold for $9,500 each. We also lived in one of Dad's first houses at 64 Newton Street, and I went to Oakley Park Public School for kindergarten and first grade. Morris Neiman from Winnipeg became Henry Bernick's mentor, and they were closer than fathers and sons. Although Mr. Neiman died in 1974, before my dad passed in 2014, 40 years earlier, Henry always attributed everything he knew and all of his successes to the mentorship of Morris Neiman. I can assure you, Dad had plenty of great successes in the 40 years after Morris died, but he always credited his mentor for all he knew and all he achieved. So I have a message for you here, and it is to find your mentor. Stay close to him or her and learn, learn, learn. Also, I'll take street smarts and people skills over book smarts and college degrees any day of the week. If you get a little bit of luck along the way, that's okay too. We moved to Toronto in 1958, where Dad went on to involvement in a few businesses, but none were as successful as the land development business in Barrie and private investing in Canadian, US, and overseas financial markets. I touched earlier on my luck in choosing the right parents. That was my first smart decision. I was lucky also to have two great mentors in my life to whom I attribute much of my success. Henry Bernick, of course, and my late former father-in-law, Leonard Lavin. Leonard was the founder of a company called Alberto Culver, and I spent 30 years of my career there from 1977 until 2007. I sold one hell of a lot of Alberto VO5, Tresemme, Alberto European, St. Ives Swiss Formula, and Nexus for a bulk guy. I was named president in 1988, and the board elected me to CEO in 1994 at Alberto Culver. We were fighting very hard to survive against giant global competitors like Procter & Gamble, Unilever, J&J, and Colgate. Versus these giants, we were trying to support too many brands in too many countries, in too many categories. And frankly, we just didn't have the money or the muscle to effectively compete. So when I became CEO in 1994, I changed things around a bit. I developed a philosophy and a 6-word mantra, which we quoted and followed, and it helped us to accelerate our top line sales growth nicely and our profit margins dramatically. The 6 words were prioritize, focus, execute, fewer, bigger, faster. When you tell an entrepreneur founder that he can't do all that he wants to do, it's not exactly easy. And frankly, I didn't lose my hair from the Alberto VO5. I forced a prioritization and focus on fewer brands in fewer countries in fewer categories. This gave us the adequate resources to grow our best opportunities by putting our dollars in a more meaningful way behind these fewer brands and fewer markets. Frankly, I find that prioritization and focus are pretty good words to follow in life in many aspects. Prioritize, focus, execute, fewer, bigger, faster. When I left Alberto Culver during our 2007 fiscal year, we had just recorded 15 consecutive record sales and record earnings years, achieving compound annual sales and earnings growth of 11% and 15% respectively. Never forget the benefit of compounding. Between 1977, when I joined the company, and 2007, when I left, Alberto Culver's New York Stock Exchange market valuation grew from $27 million to $5 billion. I'll tell you, that's a lot of shampoo. Along the way, we built Sally Beauty Supply Company into the world's largest wholesale distributor of professional salon products to the trade. We had over 4,000 cash and carry stores around the world, including one right here in Barrie on Bayfield Street. Anyway, the best speeches are short speeches, and I've probably already gone on too long. So I'll tell you more about Sally Beauty Supply if I'm lucky enough to have Sarah invite me to come back another time. Also, of course, we all want to hear from Ron Tite. I've started his book, and it's quite a page turner. I just want to summarize a couple suggestions for you. Find a mentor. Get yourself some street smarts. Develop good people skills. Treat people right, the way you want to be treated. And focus, focus, focus. Focus on your health. Focus on your spouse. Focus on your kids, and focus on your business. If you don't, I think you're going to have problems. Anyway, I wish you every success and add my congratulations to the medal award winners and all of you other entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Great remarks from Howard. Thank you, Howard, for providing them. And I always learn so much every time that I hear him speak. And now you can see I'm joined on stage, and I have the great pleasure to introduce our keynote for this evening, Ron Tite. Much like Howard's address, you will learn and laugh in the next 30 minutes, two of my favorite things for sure. Named one of the top 10 creative Canadians by Marketing Magazine, Ron Tite has been an award-winning advertising writer and creative director for some of the world's most respected brands, including Air France, Evian, Fidelity, Hershey, Johnson & Johnson, Kraft, Intel, Microsoft, Volvo, and many more. Ron is the founder of Church+State, an award-winning content marketing agency. He's also the author of 2 books, his most recent being Think, Do, Say, How to Seize Attention and Build Trust in a Busy, Busy World. Audience, please welcome Ron Tite.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. And hey, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? Nice to see you. And how about a big hand for Sarah and Jenna and for the entire HBEC team. This is incredible. It is absolutely flawless and seamless. And, we're all learning things. We're all students, every single one of us. And they've just done an absolutely amazing job. So thanks to the entire team. And thanks to you for showing up. I know you could be at home watching Netflix. Maybe you got it on in the background just in case this sucks, right? Yeah, maybe watch a little stand-up or something. I think I should add like a line to my bio that says like, Ron has done this, Ron has done this, but Ron has, given that he's living in Toronto, Ron hasn't had a haircut since like the fall. Like it's been a long time. My hair has never been this long. And then Sarah arranges to have Marshall Dane, the guy with the coolest hair in the world, come on before like this. What? Nah, this is not good. But thank you for allowing Howard to come in between us because that buffered things out, right? Alberto. So thank you, Howard, for those wonderful, inspiring words that really kind of touched on some really key entrepreneurial lessons from both you and your father. So thank you very, very much. I should also tell you that tonight is one of Howard's, the key points there was, to kind of focus on family, focus on your spouse and on your children. Today is my wedding anniversary. Now, not only is it 8 years that my wife and I have been married, she's a lovely human being. You'd love her. But 2 days into the pandemic, my wife and I, on the Wednesday, the pandemic was declared on the 11th. On the evening of the 12th, my wife and I had to go to the hospital. We had to go to the hospital because in the morning of the 13th, we said hello to our son, Ben, our second son, Ben. So not only is it my anniversary, but it's also between the hours of 4 and 6, where Ben is him now. Yeah. Between the hours of 4 and 6 with a 1-year-old, he's 1. That's how long we've been locked up. He's like our COVID clock. We just go, how old is he? Oh, he's 1. We've been locked up for a year. That's what it is. So we have 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and between 4 and 6, that's the witching hour, like dinner to bath too. So this is going to be a 4-hour keynote for you. Thank you for allowing me to hang out in my basement. Now, of course, this has been a really interesting and tricky time for businesses and for entrepreneurs. And some people have, done amazing things, and some people, quite honestly, have had challenges. And we really need to, in terms of moving forward and how we deal with all this, we have to kind of put all this into context. Now, maybe it was because I grew up in Oshawa, Ontario. Hello, Schwiggity. Down the street from the largest General Motors plant, or maybe because I was the creative director on Volvo for, close to a decade. But I get cars. And when you look at kind of the F1 NASCAR race, that kind of environment, well, there's a couple of things that I know here. One is that it's ridiculously easy to win in the straightaway, right? Any NASCAR F1 race, it's really easy to win in the straightaway. And yes, I am going through puberty with my voice. Now, in the straightaway, anybody can win, and it's easy because all you need to do is you just gun it. You put the pedal to the metal and you gun it. Now, here's something else I know. I also know that no race is ever won in the straightaways. Races aren't won in the straightaways. Races are won in the corners, because that's where talent and insight come in. Now, here's what typically happens with a race car driver in a race. The first thing is they come out of the straightaway as they enter a corner. The first thing they do is they slow the car down. They go, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's just take it easy here. Now, they need to slow the car down because they need to gain control of the car. They can't have it spin out and go into chaos because everything about their environment has quickly changed. So they slow the car down. Now, they have a dashboard in front of them that has the real-time metrics of how fast they're going and what the velocity is and everything else, just as you have a real-time dashboard, or you should, of what's going on in your business. So they slow the car down. They gain control. Now, amateurs like you and I, we probably think like, oh, you just wait till the end of the corner, and then as you enter the straightaway again, you gun it. You see, the professional race car driver knows that if you really want to win the race, what you need to do is you need to accelerate in the middle of a corner. That once you get control of the car, boom, it is then that you accelerate. And you accelerate in the middle of the corner because by the time you leave the corner, you have great momentum moving out. And you get to lap everybody who waited. We're in the middle of a corner. And some people are sitting back going, well, it's the new normal. This is my thing. Other people are accelerating in the middle of the corner. And the reason it's really, really important is because as you go from a state of chaos to a state of composure when slowing down, what you have to ensure is that state of composure does not become a state of complacency. So you need to accelerate. Now, accelerate can mean a bunch of different things to a bunch of different people. It can mean investment. It can be focus. It can mean innovation. It can mean a bunch of different stuff. But innovate and accelerate is certainly something you must do. Now, we don't know. We have an indication of how long this corner will be, but I hope that every single one of you, especially the students, are accelerating. You're defining what that means to you, and you're putting the pedal to the metal. Now, the other thing that's going on here that has to shape our entrepreneurial journey and our success is this really, simple metaphor. This, of course, is Times Square. And in Times Square, in non-pandemic times, there are 400,000 people who traipse through Times Square every single day, walking and driving. So we know that there's a lot of people there. Now, this is the most expensive promotional real estate in North America because of that. With all those eyeballs, everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants to be the entrepreneur. Now, within Times Square, there are two sides of Times Square. The first is the top layer. Now, the top layer, those are big legacy businesses. They've been there a long time. They got big budgets. They can afford to be there. And they're a little further from the street, aren't they? The distance between them and the actual people they're meant to serve, there's a big gap. There's a big distance. They're very perfect. They're very polished. They're very scripted. They've paid a lot of money to be there. But to the person that the entire ecosystem has been designed for, when you're standing in the middle of Times Square, you don't know where to look. That one's beeping. That one's flashing. That one's scrolling. That's an M&M's character. You have no idea where to look. Now, worst is down on street level. Now, this is the level where most of you play because this is entrepreneurial level, right? This is startup zone. Now, down here on street level, oh, you can be more nimble. You can be more aggressive. You can be more customized. You can make eye contact with someone you come direct contact with, and you can customize your message based on what they're wearing. Surely you should win, right? No, because just as the person doesn't know where to look up top, down below, well, you got somebody else over here who's got a completely new business model that they've never heard of before. You got somebody else selling kind of fake Gucci. You got TKTS. You got someone selling street meat. All great entrepreneurs, but to the consumer, they're sitting there going, I don't know whether this person is going to be around tomorrow. So on one level, they don't know where to look. On another level, they don't know who to trust. Now, of course, the best of both worlds is certainly when we consult to our clients at Church+State, that we tell them the best place to be is right there in the middle. Because right there in the middle is a blend of two of those things. And to describe it, there's an old tagline from Allstream that I absolutely love. I don't know why they ditched it. Because the tagline was big enough to deliver and small enough to care. That's in the middle of Times Square. You're big enough to deliver. You have integrity. You have credibility. You can scale the business. You've got operations. You've got process. You look and act and sound like somebody who belongs in business. Now, small enough to care, this is the heart of the entrepreneurial journey because you're nimble and you can customize and you can personalize. That you're not bound by legacy process, but that you can still be nimble. You can still be small enough to care. Big enough to deliver, small enough to care. Those are the brands that are really, really succeeding by resonating and connecting with their target market. Whether they're, in the B2B space or in the B2C space. And by the way, congratulations to all the winners tonight. Absolutely love all those organizations. And I just can't wait, Rebecca and Brianne, I just can't wait to, if my wife, disagrees with me on something, I can't wait to say, honey, be the change. Please, can you not just be the change? No? Maybe I'll have to use Fens always bearded. Maybe that'll, no, maybe not. No. Okay. So how do we do this? How do we wrap all that? Well, we know that great organizations, great entrepreneurs, great leaders are the ones who align what they think, what they do, and what they say. And all three of those things combined. You can't cherry pick. Now, because here's what's important. If as an organization, all you do is think, well, then you're a think tank, which probably you're not. If as a person, all you do is think, then you're a philosopher. Compensation sucks for philosophers. And by the way, just so you know, there's a ton of competition because anybody with an Instagram account and a Maya Angelou quote is a philosopher these days. So you can't just think. No, you can't just do either. Because if as an organization, if all you do is do, without being strategically aligned, without being focused, as Howard told us, well, then you're a sweatshop. You're exhausting. So you can't just do. And if as an organization, all you do is talk about the things you're going to do, but you never actually do them, well, then you'll be found out. If you just say, and talk about the great things your company is going to do, but you don't deliver, well, then hello, churn. You're in constant acquisition mode because you have no customer loyalty. So it really is aligning thinking and doing and saying. Now, and you can think of this in another way, but kind of being bound by purpose, being defined by the actions you take, and being adopted by how you communicate. And of course, growth comes from being adopted by other people, by turning your prospects into clients, by turning your prospects into customers. And that is typically by how you communicate your offering. And what is your offering? Clearly stating what you fundamentally believe and what you do to reinforce that belief. Now, the think side, we need to do this. We need to reinforce. We need to believe in something more important. We need to believe in something that goes beyond what we sell. And I know this is one of the most difficult things for an entrepreneur because you've lived your product. You've sweated through the development of it, the different prototypes you've had, all that you went, even if it's if it's a service that you've kind of whiteboarded the service 4 million times and checked with other people, and you get so close to it. To say that you should believe in something more is almost sacrilegious. This is your life. This is your baby. But believe in something more, you must. Now, one of my last in-person speaking engagements with Purelator, a lovely entrepreneurial organization. based out of Mississauga. And now Purolator, this is about 1,000 people. This was the Instagram shot I took the day of speaking to them. And when I talk about believing in something more, we would talk about corporate purpose. And I went to the CEO, John Ferguson, and I said, what do you believe in? What's your purpose? And he goes, oh, yeah, we have one. Our purpose is this. I'm down here. Our purpose is to make Canada stronger. That's what we fundamentally believe in. And I go, well, that's nice. Again, this is pre-pandemic. I said, that's nice. And he goes, no, really, seriously, this is what drives us. Because when we do what we do really well, it goes well beyond delivering packages. Because when we do what we do really well, entrepreneurs get to sell their products directly to Canadian consumers. Canadian consumers get to buy the things they want and receive communications from people they care about. And small business, well, they get the supplies that they need to run as a business. We make Canada stronger. This is what drives us. And I loved it. And then the pandemic hit. And as you may remember, around April 8th, of last year, almost a year ago, we were waiting on 500,000 masks from 3M. And we weren't sure whether President Cheeto, was going to deliver them or let them leave the US. And it was a really stressful time. My wife works in healthcare. And it was a really stressful time. And then on April 8th, Purolator tweeted out this photo. And with this photo, they said, and I've got to toggle over to see this. They said, great news. We just received the first shipment of 500,000 masks, and we're working quickly to get them into the hands of healthcare workers. Thank you to Justin Trudeau, Doug Ford, public officials at all levels, and our dedicated employees for their help to make this happen. Now, let's break this down. A really sensitive time, a really stressful time, and what did they do? Great news. Boom. Out of the gate, positivity. There we go. Secondly, an update, and I mean a factual update. We just received the first shipment of 500,000 masks. Then, knowing that they are going to be defined by the action they take, they said, and we are working quickly to get them into the hands of healthcare workers. They also know that they are adopted by how they communicate this. So did they say, that's right, who did you choose, Purolator? No. They took the high road. This is no time to beat your chest. This is no time to boast. Instead, they're incredibly inclusive. They thank Justin Trudeau and Doug Ford, two politicians who could not be more different with completely different jurisdictions, public officials at all levels, and their own dedicated employees for their help to make this happen. They even put a little exclamation mark there to make it resonate more. Now, when this all ends and we get back to the straightaway, then they can say, remember when that important delivery, who did we choose? We chose Purolator. But they don't have to now. But they are bound by the purpose to make Canada stronger. They're defined by the actions they take, and they are adopted by how they communicate it. Now, this, of course, is Milton Friedman. Of course, like everybody knows this, Milton Friedman wrote this paper in 1970. And the paper is the social responsibility of businesses to increase its profits. I feel like I should do this, right? I feel like I should there we are. Hey, hello. So Milton Friedman wrote this paper. And for close to 50 years, because he wrote this in 1970, the year I was born. 1970. I know you're, trust me, I know what you're thinking. You're like, there's no way this guy is 50. He's 35 at the most. With that head of hair, bald spot. Some of you are also, you might be thinking is like, what's a 50-year-old dude doing with a newborn? What is this second marriage? You want to bet this is his second marriage? No, it's the first marriage. But what's really critical here is he wrote this paper, and this is how we defined corporate purpose. This is how we defined the corporations for close to 50 years. As we said, your job is to make cash. Your job is to generate profits, and then you give those profits to your shareholders, which in entrepreneurial land is you. And then those people wearing their consumer hat, they can decide what to spend that money on. And then in 2019, pre-pandemic, this all changed. The Business Roundtable, made up of 180 CEOs, representing 35% of the market cap in the US, and chaired by the CEO of Walmart, said this has to change. This just isn't relevant anymore. We don't have one constituent. We have 5 constituents. We don't just think about the shareholders. We think about our employees, and we think about our customers and our suppliers and our community in which we operate. You need to stand for something more because you're morally obligated to stand for something more. Just 2 days ago, Monopoly. It is the quintessential capitalist-loving game that we were taught about capitalism when we were children. Monopoly themselves said, this needs a refresh. And so in the community chest, where you used to get like, oh, you won a beauty contest, here's $200. They're now changing those to things like you shopped locally, you helped save a dog. These are now community-based messages, and the new monopoly is going to come out in the fall. Please, my friends, don't let monopoly from Hasbro innovate faster and better than you and your organization. You need to stand for something more important. Here's the other reason why. You may remember this great scene from Something About Mary. Ben Stiller picks up a hitchhiker, played by Harlan Williams, great Canadian comedian, uncredited in the role, which is weird. Anyhow, he picks him up and he goes, so what do you do? And Harlan Williams goes, you ever hear of the 8-minute abs? He goes, yeah. He's like, well, I've made the 7-minute abs. Ben Stiller goes, well, what are you going to do when someone comes up with the 6-minute abs? And he goes, dude, you can't get a good workout in 6 minutes. Right? You remember that scene? You've seen it? I think this is such a great metaphor. If the only thing you think of and believe in is your product, that's what you stand for and the thing you sell, one, it's clearly a bias. But secondly, if you just think of the product features and the price point, and that's what you lead with, and that is the basis for your organization, that's super easy to copy. It's super easy to compete against. And my good friend Ken Wong, who's the professor of marketing at Queen's University, goes through this great theatrical piece where he goes $7, and this is how long it takes your competition, $6.99, boom, just like that, to undercut you. You need to believe in something more. What else it does is when you believe in something more that goes beyond the thing you sell, I mean, this is what allows you to pivot. This is what allows you to diversify your portfolio. I mean, Lady Gaga believes that people should be free to express themselves. She doesn't believe that she should be the best musician on the planet. She believes that people should be free to express themselves. And so when concert revenue tanks because of COVID, what does she do? She dials up the other lines of businesses in her diversified portfolio that all tie back to the same purpose, which is people should be free to express themselves. Her makeup line tagline is "Our house, your rules." That is the external version of the line, people should be free to express themselves. So we know this. Now, this, of course, it is not your mission. It is not your vision. It is not your values. And those things, sure, they're all important if you think, but I've met with a ton of frontline employees, and you know what they all tell me? They're like, I don't even know what the difference between mission and vision is. I don't know what it is. And for you to grow your business, what you need to do is to provide meaningful employment for people where they find great meaning. And you can talk about a mission and a vision, but that is shared. That is copywritten. It is you took a writer with a bunch of jargon and buzzwords that don't understand it. But meaningful employment is individual. And meaningful employment occurs when I understand what the purpose of the organization is, and when I see and understand the role that I personally play in the organization, realizing that. If I don't understand what the organization stands for, then I write it off as being, it's a senior management thing. It's an entrepreneurial thing. I'm just going to get my paycheck. But when I see that the founders stand for something more, and they allow me as a team member to behave in a way that reinforces that, that is meaningful employment. And that for you as an entrepreneur is growth. Now, the second thing we need to do is we need to behave in a way that reinforces that belief. And changing behavior is really tricky. Look at this, right? I mean, am I looking? Yeah, look at that. Every day this person got up and was like, idiot. You can understand the change. You can champion the change. You can intellectually understand what I'm talking about. But the reality is you're going to get up every single day and do the exact same thing you did yesterday. So we need to consciously think about how we're going to adopt new behaviors to drive us towards our purpose. Now, the first thing we need to do is within this environment, to do that is to embrace our limitations. Now, if you're my age or older, hello, 52-year-olds, then you know these guys. This is Bob and Doug McKenzie. This, in my opinion, is one of the greatest comedy duos of all time. One of the best reoccurring sketches of all time, Dave Thomas, Rick Moranis on SCTV. Now, here's what you might not know. What you might not know, did you like that dramatic pause for me to burp? Excuse me, I'm going to cover it up with my fist so you don't see. What you may not know is that SCTV, when it was being shot in Edmonton and went from Global to CBC, and when they made that move to a new network, they found themselves with 2 minutes of extra time. And the CRTC came in and said, you need to create more Canadian content. And they were like, what? We're all Canadian. We're mostly Canadian. We're shooting this in Edmonton. Well, how much more Canadian do you want from this? And they said, no. They fought the limitations, as many of us did, when those limitations were placed upon us. And they said, we're not going to do it. And then they started thinking about it, and they're like, well, hold on a second. What if we embrace this? What is the most stereotypical Canadian content we could give them? Like, let's go, you want Canadian? Here's over the top Canadian. Well, this is where they landed. They landed with these two characters who were stereotypically Canadian. They embraced their limitations and they created something that was far better than they ever could have created in an environment where they had no limitations. So embrace your limitations. The second thing we have to ask ourselves is, well, who are you doing it for? And then when you got to do some stuff, who are you doing it for? And who you're doing it for, especially at the entrepreneurial level, is you're not doing for this swath of customers that all look and sound alike. You're doing it for the individual snowflake of a human being who is standing before you. The whole idea behind this was, who would you share a Coke with? And we were like, forget Dan. I don't want to share a Coke with Dan. I want to share a Coke with myself. Because there's nothing we like better than the sound of our own name with stuff completely customized for us and for our interests. So who do you do it for? You do it for the human being. And I'm sure that some of you in the tech space have a lot of great data capabilities to customize messaging based on a number of fields in your database. And yes, of course, you need to do that. But more important, I think, is a genuine desire to connect with another human being. You know, my wife saw this piece of art on Instagram, and she thought it'd be great for the cottage. We're not far from just north of Barrie by about an hour. And she thought it'd be great. And so she ordered it from a store in Winnipeg called Tiny Feast. Now, what you need to know about my wife is she's a wonderful human being. And her name, she's got the best name in the world. Her name is Christy Pickles. I mean, come on, it doesn't get any better than that, right? So she orders this, and when it comes in the mail, she gets a card. And the card says, "You mean a great deal to me." And on the inside, it was like, "Dear Christy, thanks for the order. Is your last name really Pickles? I love it, Danica." That genuine desire to connect with another human being with a very simple handwritten note. I mean, this is what resonates with people. When you're standing in the middle of Times Square, trust me, if you can say, "Christy," you're going to get Christy's attention. So we need to do that. Not only knowing who you're doing it for, but what do they want you to do? And what they want you to do. And they're not going to tell you this in their outside voice. They want you to shut up and solve their problem. Because we all think that consumers and customers and prospects, they think about us and our brands and our products. No, they don't. They think about their life. That's what they think about. And their life is filled with problems. And what they look for is solutions to those problems. No, some of those problems are emotional problems, and some of those problems are rational problems, and some of those are financial problems. But solve their problem, you must. Now, some of you may be saying, well, look, you know, I know what you're saying, but solving a problem has been tricky because this is a pandemic. And that's the point. Because the normal kind of flow of disruption to entrepreneurs, really great disruptors, are the ones who are solving the problems the establishment can't or won't. Pick a category. There's a reason why, you know, Uber and Lyft exist, is because for years we were all in taxis and no one said a thing, but we hated when we were like, "Can we pay with my credit card?" And the guys were like, "Oh, the machine chunk, right?" You never knew when they were coming and everything else. And Uber came along and said, "That's a problem. We're going to identify that you can just get in and you can just leave." And they're like, "What? No credit card? I'll just back away?" This is incredible. solving a problem that the establishment can't or won't. But when in a pandemic type situation, it's new problems that are emerging. And those are the problems that you have to identify and that you have to solve. Now, as we get out of this back into the straightaway, some of those problems are not going to go away. And so having great insight, that's what acceleration is. Embracing the limitations and starting to identify the new problems that have emerged from your category, from your industry. Now, you might say, it's really difficult to do this because it's tough to figure out. Well, we can actually look to the music industry to guide us in our thinking. Because the music industry is the only industry that's gone through the full and complete cycle of disruption to the point that it's reinventing itself out the other side. Now, let's break it down quickly, okay? Music industry was for established players. It was the artists, the labels, the record stores, and the radio stations. They all had little deals, right? You're taking 10 points, I'm taking 5 points. Right. Closed loop system. Label said, you're an artist. I'm welcoming you into the establishment. Radio, play them. Record stores, sell them. It's closed loop. And then they had a pandemic. Their pandemic was called Napster. Yep. Because what happens in any political coup d'etat, and that's what disruption is a coup of the establishment. And what happens is we give power to the people. We give power to the people, and we say, you don't have to have the man tell you what music to listen to. You can listen to whatever you want. And what happens when we give power to the people? It's anarchy. And people are sprinting around. And what do we do in music? We start ripping off music with a complete disregard for artists and copyright infringement and everything else. We ripped it all off. That was the pandemic. And we all stood back and went, the labels are going to die. No one needs the labels. Now, of course, when we have a chaotic environment like this, where we give power to the people, new problems emerge. As the complete business ecosystem changes, new problems emerge. And what ends up happening is a power vacuum occurs. The power vacuum is who's going to solve those problems. And what occurs is the people who solve those problems are the ones who come out the other side as members of the new establishment. That's all. So is the establishment the record stores and the radio stations? No. They went away because they didn't embrace their limitations and solve the new problems that were emerging. But the new establishment, it is Spotify, it is Apple Music, it is Ticketmaster, it is Live Nation, and whoa, what? It's the labels. Yeah, because the dumb ones, yeah, they went away. But the smart ones who embraced their limitations, who pivoted their business to identify and solve new problems within that embraced environment, not only came out the other side as being members of the new establishment, they came out more profitable than they ever were before because they don't have warehouses with CDs and albums. They're not shipping stuff all over North America. They're not touring the world looking for artists. They're getting Spotify playlists. They're way more profitable than they ever were. This is what we need to do. Our dues need to be focused on embracing our limitations, identifying and solving the problems by knowing who we are and knowing what they want us to do. I'll very quickly, because Sarah's nervous that I'm going over time. I'm going to be 2 minutes. That's it, I promise. I'll just very quickly say on the say side that the reason a lot of coups fail, political coup d'etats fail, is because insurgent forces think they got it all. They think we are driven by a higher purpose. We're going to, feed the hungry. And they think we're actually living this. We're not shysters. We're not people who are faking it. No, we actually live this. We actually do things to reinforce it. The problem is they think that that's enough. They think that that's going to solve everybody's problem. They don't realize that they need to communicate in a really specific way so that other people adopt their ideals. That's what you need to do. You don't need people to adopt your products. You need people to adopt your beliefs. Now, so when we say it, we need to say it authentically. Now, authenticity is a $2 word here. It can mean a bunch of different things to a bunch of different people, and it's been getting way more airtime than it deserves. Maybe. I actually fundamentally believe this. I think the power of authenticity is in defining it. And for me, the definition of authenticity is being comfortable with your imperfections. Because other people went to your school and other people have your degrees and other people have your background. And let's face it, we have all stood back over the past 10 years and we have glorified the life of the entrepreneur. We have put entrepreneurs on a pedestal. to the point that others think like, maybe I shouldn't get a job. We have to stop doing that. This is about lifestyle. This is about choice. I'm not saying entrepreneurs aren't powerful and wonderful, but so are people who run businesses, established businesses, because as entrepreneurs, that's the way I want to get to. So if you think that you should look and act and sound like the stock photo version of what you think an entrepreneur should look and act and sound like, they're not going to buy it. They're going to smell that from a mile away. I will finish with this story. I had a wonderful gig before the pandemic. And it was in Sarasota, Florida, and it was to 100 CEOs. And I'm talking the 100. Like, put it this way, the only external speakers for a 24-hour event was me, George Bush, and Jeb Bush. It was insane. So due to Chatham House rules, I cannot tell you who was in the room. But I can tell you what was discussed. Now, I talked a lot about CEO authenticity there, and to tell them that they have to stop being the stock photo version of what they think a publicly traded CEO should look and act and sound like. And somebody came up to me afterwards and he said, that meant a lot to me. And he's now a chairman of a global software company that you would know. And he said, before that, before I joined this software company, I was a VP at a consumer packaged goods. And this guy was from the deep South. And he said, I hit VP and they sent me on a leadership development course. And I realized that the sole purpose of that leadership development course was to get me to lose my Southern accent because they didn't feel I would have credibility on the global stage. And then he goes, so I quit because I realized my voice, it ain't a bug, it's a feature. And he's right. Your imperfections, the things that make you real, the things that make you human, this is what people buy. These are the features. When we combine those three things, when we combine being bound by the purpose what we have, that we believe in something more, when we are defined by the specific actions that we take, we are adopted by how we communicate. Every single one of you can think it and do it and say it. Thanks for having me. And congratulations to all the winners. Sarah, back to you.
So I want to thank you for joining us, and also to Howard Bernick for his remarks. And at this time, I'm going to close out the event and thank the team at HBEC, Jenna, the ultimate live and virtual event mastermind and wizard, Virginia, Cecilia, Fran, Dawn, and our wonderful co-op student, Kripa from Nepal, that all helped to make this event happen. Hire a co-op student. They are incredible. And Howard spoke of mentors, and I know this is baked into everything that we do at the center. And so I wanted to highlight the work of our 16 mentors and express my gratitude to them and the work that they do. So we have come to the close of our formal presentation of the evening. I want to say hi, Mom. She's been texting me to say hi to her. She's out there. We have this big, wonderful platform to test out, network, and see friends on. So at this time, we're going to open up the floor to continue to celebrate the students, entrepreneurs, sponsors, and businesses that make this region the thriving, growing place that it is. So you can feel free to move around from table to table, jump to other floors, and you can find people in the chat as well. The upper floors are less used, and you'll find them on the elevator along the side panel of the map. And they make a great meeting spot. So you could tell your friend through the chat, using the private chat, to meet you on the 7th floor, and you can find a table that's suitable for you. Ron Tite will be available to network virtually here for another 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes. And then we're going to close with some more live music from Marshall Dane. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and for your patience and for trying new hard things with us. And I will see you on the floor. Take care, everybody. Hi, everybody. I hope everyone enjoyed the networking component of this event. I'm happy to close down this evening with a special guest, Marshall Dane. And as he's just getting set up, I'm going to share just for you. He's a Canadian singer-songwriter and recording artist who writes country songs, crosses genres, and bridges the gap between mainstream pop, rock, and new country. You got to check out his song on Spotify, Motorcycle. You can like and share the love over there. It's reached over 186,000 streams. Marshall Dane, I invite you back to the stage, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and have a great evening.
Right on, right on. I hope you guys have got me back out there. That was an amazing presentation. What a beautiful award show you guys had tonight. Thank you so much for bringing me on board. I won't waste any more of your time with anything else other than music. You guys be good. Have a great night. Thanks again. And definitely find me if you're on Instagram or Facebook or any of those places. Find Marshall Dane out there. On Facebook, it's Marshall Dane Music. And on Instagram, it's Marshall Dane. And on streaming platforms, it's the same thing. Go figure. This is actually my best charting song in Canadian country history so far. This got me to 49 on the country charts. Check this out. Girl, we always say someday, when it comes to leaving this town, it's always off in the future, and it never seems to come around. I got a few dollars saved up, I got the windows rolled down, I got a tank full of dreams, and they're telling me there's no better time than now. This is one of these days we've been waiting for. So pack your suitcase, it's getting late. I don't want to wait anymore. This is our chance to make our escape. If there ever was a time when nothing on the circus stood in the way, oh, this is one of these days. I got an uncle in Vegas. He says you're welcome to stay. Let's get married by Elvis, and we'll put our chips down on LA. Get a picture taken in front of this big Hollywood sign. We can take it slow or as fast as she'll go, but let's kiss this town goodbye. This is one of these days we've been waiting for. So pack your suitcase, it's getting late. I don't want to wait anymore, no. Baby, this is our chance to make our escape. If there ever was a time when nothing on the circus stand in the way, oh, one of these days. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, whoa, 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 yeah. This is one of these days. Right on. We've been waiting for. It's gonna happen, mama. I ain't gonna wait anymore. This is one of these days we've been waiting for. So pack your suitcase, it's getting late. I don't wanna wait anymore. Baby, this is our chance to make our escape. If there ever was a time when nothing on this earth could stand in our way, this one of these days, on one of these days. Oh, baby, 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 please. Girl, we always say someday. Right on, right on. Yeah, what did I tell you? Less talk, more rock. Have yourself a beautiful night, everybody. This is another track of mine, but I'm going to do a little medley with a few other tunes that you'll recognize. This is a song called Love and Alcohol. You guys know about that? Yeah! Come on. Baby, you look good tonight, and that cotton dress sure suits you right. I may not be thinking what you're thinking, or I go and promise you all those things that lovers do. Girl, you ought to know that I've been drinking under normal circumstances. Never loved the devil, man, he danced. I've had one or two, you know, love and alcohol. I can't touch that stuff at all. Always seems to get the best of me. The combination's dangerous. Every time I mix them up, I end up saying something that I don't mean. But it ain't my fault, no. I blame it on love and alcohol. Here we go. If you happen to decide to take me home with you tonight, baby, I'll be glad to go along. There'll be no I told you so's. I tell you now, so now you know. Come tomorrow morning, I'll be gone. So before you have another, before I finish mine, girl, let me warn you one more time. You know, love and alcohol, I can't touch that stuff at all. Always seems to get the best of me. The combination's dangerous. Every time I mix them up, I end up saying something that I don't mean. But it ain't my fault, no. I'll blame it on love and alcohol. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Do-do-do-do-do. Ooh. Hey, 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 hey. Yeah. All right, here we go. Nah, 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 nah. Hey, Jude. Nah, 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 nah. Hey, Jude. All right, I got more. Nah, 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 nah. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Your turn. Come on, sing it. Nah, nah. Come on. Nah, 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 nah. I hear you. Hey, hey, hey. Just kidding. Goodbye. My grandma and your grandma sitting by the fire. My grandma said to your grandma, I'm gonna set your flag on fire. Talk about grandmas, grandmas, feisty grandmas. Jata no sita anane, jata no sita ne. All right, I got one more for you. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Yep. The other night, dear, when I was sleeping, I dreamt I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken, I was. So I hung my head and I cried. All right, you guys sing. Somebody get the harmony, okay? Here we go. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you, yeah. Please don't take my sunshine away. All right, let's get out of here. All right. 'Cause you know love and alcohol, yeah. I can't touch that stuff at all. Always seems to get the best of me, yeah. The combination's dangerous. Every time I mix them up, I end up saying something I don't mean. But it ain't my fault, no. I blame it on love and alcohol. Oh, it ain't my fault, no. I blame it on love and alcohol. Oh, it ain't my fault. I blame it on love and alcohol. Oh, yeah. One more time. Cheers, everybody. Thank you so much. My name is Marshall Dane. I appreciate all your kind words. It's awesome. I'll see you out there. One time. Let's go. Na, 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 na. Na, na, na. Hey, Jude. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Hey, Jude. One time, you sing it with me. Come on. Na, 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 na. Oh, na, na, na.